But we have, of course, a lot of interesting things lined up for you. But the most important thing is the news that came in about half an hour back about Telenor now picking up perhaps a slightly larger stake in Unitech than they earlier had. Looks like there has been a reworking of the valuation at which Telenor is picking up a stake in Unitech Wireless. To clarify on what is the valuation change, we are joined by the Managing Director of Unitech, Sanjay Chandra, on the phone line on the readjusted Telenor deal. Mr. Chandra, if you could take us through what exactly were the constraints and what is the new valuation looking like?
I think the deal remains pretty much intact in a way. Telenor is still investing 6,120 crores approximately, but now in tranches as earlier, their stake will start at 33.5% in the first tranche. And go up to 67.25%, giving them overall a stake of 7.25% more than what was previously agreed with them. Further,
Mr. Chandra, my question is, what warranted this change? Is it that the debt they saw on the books was higher than what they had bargained for?
I think there are adjustments based on various things, including debt, including the foreign exchange rate also being different now.
Mm-hmm. Sanjay, obviously, I'd imagine you have a term sheet in place for this particular deal. Could you shed some light if the deal is subject to or conditional to further dilutions? What I'm saying is, could this be the last dilution, or are there some other triggers, and perhaps you could shed some light what those triggers are that could perhaps dilute it even more for the same amount of money?
No, there's no further dilutive triggers in the deal. This is a pure straight equity deal. There's no convertible instrument in it. Mm-hmm. And so there will be no scope for further dilution.
Right. Now, Sanjay, how does it work? Just in terms of the timelines for the cash flow, when does this cash kind of seep into this company? When does that company return some of the money to Unitech, the parent? How much could be the quantum? If you could just shed some light in terms of just, particular timelines.
Sure. The money will start flowing in towards end of this week or early next week at the latest. Mm-hmm. Post that, the company will assume the debt which Unitech-Telenor telecom companies have, so that debt will go off Unitech mains balance sheet. Also, there's about 500 crore approximately convertible instrument owned by Unitech, which will stay on in the company, so it'll be a debt in the company, but it'll convert at a later stage into equity. Secondly, it'll also repay all advances which Unitech had made towards the operations of this company.
Sanjay, how much is that exact advances? Essentially, I'm trying to see in the next 1 or 2 months, how much would Unitech get in their hand from this particular deal, which is whether through advances, loans, or what have you?
See, the numbers are something which we haven't given out in the public domain yet, and they're still being reconciled. But our last disclosure, which was when we signed the deal with Telenor in October, on October 28th, that amount was 277 crores. Mm-hmm. So it'll be north of that because we have advanced the company significant amounts of money thereafter also to help run its operations so far.
If you can give us a ballpark figure, would it be like 400 crores?
Yeah, it'll be about that range.
Okay. If you look at what Unitech is sitting on at this point of time, it's, I think, a debt of about 10,000 crore on the books. There is some problem, some strain, not problem really, in terms of the debt also being pledged. 49% of the 66 that promoters hold is pledged, and that includes practically everything that you personally hold. So what happens now with this money that you are getting, Sanjay?
See, the money is coming into Unitech Limited, so it's going to be servicing and repaying its loans and obligations from that. So nothing of it is going to us personally.
Mm-hmm. How much would you be retiring some of this debt?
Of course, all our revenues today, with the surplus cash flows which we are generating, we are basically working towards lowering our debt levels.
Okay, and any plans for any other kind of stake sale to an equity partner? Considering that Unitech's responsibilities or liabilities are still onerous, are you thinking of a GDR or thinking of a private equity stake sale?
We are looking at a couple of different options. Firstly, we are doing a couple of transactions where we would be getting private equity at project levels. Mm-hmm. Also, we took an enabling resolution recently and are working towards raising either some capital at the main company level through a private placement to institutional investors, or the same could be done via GDR also. So both the options are being evaluated, and we are in discussions with various.
Yeah, actually,
potential
Sanjay, that's
investors.
exactly what I guess even Ashu was trying to get at. When is that cash coming? You were speaking about private equity coming in at the project level. When does that cash relief come for Unitech, and how much? Some timeline on the way in which you're seeing cash flows come from private equity and cash flow coming from private placement.
See, private equity transactions are pretty much in progress. So over the next 2 months, we'll see a couple of small transactions because most of them, what we are working on, are at project levels. So any project could have anywhere from $30 to $50 million each of equity investment coming in.
Sanjay, I'm going to ask you a question which is related to operating cash flows. I guess the market's concern is the following. What is your liability in terms of interest payments going into April, May, June, July, August, September, just in terms of interest payments, and exactly where are you planning to get the cash? Because Sanjay, while we can talk about selling SPVs, you know as well as I guess we do that most of these real estate funds are asking for deals at a cost or at a valuation that many real estate companies cannot agree to. It's just too low, or they're doing no deals at all. So exactly how are you going to match this inflow-outflow problem just to tide over the next 6 months in terms of interest payments?
I think what we do have is a lot of prime assets which we are in the process of liquidating. For instance, we sold one hotel asset recently in Gurgaon. In today's market also, over our cost, the margins are fairly high. They are similar margins to what we are used to. Similarly, there are other properties of ours which we have been building over. In the past, thought process was to create REITs and sell these as REIT products. But today, the REIT market's really not there. So us, as well as a lot of other developers, are now selling these assets in the market as a rented property and things like that. So that's giving us some expected cash flows. Plus, last 1 month, what we've seen is even our residential sales have picked up substantially post all the initiatives of the home loan reductions in the rates. And what we have seen is in our affordable housing category, we launched something in Gurgaon recently. The response was far, far better than what we expected.
Okay. Sanjay, you spoke about the sale of the Gurgaon hotel property. What money did you get for it?
The price is in the range of about 240 to 250 crores.
And it's come in? The money's come in?
The money has started to come in. It doesn't come in one shot because we have to deliver the hotel by April or May.
Okay. And the Saket office property sale?
That's also, discussions are in progress. So I think we should close that also pretty soon.
Okay, just one more question. Did you get any, you must have got some kind of extra line of credit from banks. Can you tell us which are the banks or how much is the money that was extended to you in, say, in the month of January and February?
I don't think it will be right for me to comment on which banks, but yes, we have been able to raise long-term capital from the banks and have replaced a lot of our short-term liabilities with long-term loans.
Just the amount and the tenor that you raised in Jan and Feb?
Tenor is anywhere from 3 to 5 years. January, Feb combined, we would have raised another about little 1,000 crores.
Okay, all right. Sanjay, thanks a lot for joining us with all those details. Okay, so that's quite clearly some kind of near-term relief that Unitech has got. Clearly, nowhere near the kind of liabilities they face. Our research analyst who tracks this very closely says that it still has 5,000 crore of debt maturing in FY 10-11 and interest payments of 2,000 crore in 10-11. So onerous responsibilities or onerous liabilities to be paid off, but some kind of cash arrangement has come in.